You can take off your lug nuts with a 13/16 or 21mm socket. So the body of the caliper is split into two main components, this piece here and then the outer piece. We're going to remove the inner piece first. So it's 2 bolts, one here and then one right down there on my fingertip. And they are removed with a 14mm socket. You can see just short screws here. They both look good. So the caliper should now come off, and you want to be careful to not damage or put excess strain on the brake line that's attached to it. So I'm going to move a milk crate over and be prepared to set the caliper on the milk crate. Even though the screws are out of this, it is still clamping on the rotor, and my rotor has a little bit of a lip on the edge, and so it's not able to slide off. So I need to compress the cylinder in the caliper just a little bit so that the pads move away from the rotor and I can slide it off. You want to be careful compressing this piston. You don't want to do it in a way that is going to damage it. So the piston is in here, so you could stick a pry bar in here and try to push the piston back, but I'm going to use a bar clamp instead to try to squeeze the caliper together. And you want to go slowly. I can see it moving. It's hard to see, but the piston is going back into the caliper just a little bit. So I'm going to take the clamp off and see if that was enough. And you can see as I loosen the clamp, the caliper wants to fall, so that was definitely enough. So again, I want to help the caliper rest on the milk crate or other object so that it does not fall and damage the brake line. So now you can see the piston on the caliper, and you can see the brake pads. The brake pads stayed with the rotor. Since I will be removing the remainder of the caliper, I'm going to go ahead and get the lower half, or the inner half, out of the way by tying it up. Now to remove the stationary half of the caliper, I just need to remove these 2 bolts with a 15mm socket. Those 2 bolts are out. Now the stationary part of the caliper comes right off, you can see, and the rotor will also now come off. So now with the brake caliper off, we can see the control arm better. So it is, of course, right here, this bottom member, and we just have the 4 fasteners that we need to remove. 2 from this bracket right there, 1 right there from that bushing, and then this guy right here, the pinch bolt for the ball joint. So it's a nut on this side and a torque screw on the other that is holding this together. So let's go ahead and take those out. We're going to start back here. The bolt head here is an 18mm, so I've got an 18mm socket. And the other end is a 21mm, but it is very rusty, so I'm going to try spinning it before putting a wrench on it. Okay, so it looks like the bolt is spinning, which is a good thing. WD-40 on the threads. So I'm going to try to get a wrench on it. There we go. So here's the nut that was on the other end. There's the bolt. Now we're going to remove these 2 bolts. The bolt head on the bottom is 15mm. The nut on top is 18mm. So if you're curious, here's the bolt, here's the nut. So the bolt back here is actually a different size. The nut, which is on the top, is a 21mm, and the bolt head on the bottom is an 18mm. And again, here's what that bolt looks like, if you're curious. This pinch bolt, as I had noted earlier, is a Torx screw on the left and a 15mm nut on the right. So this Torx screw is a T50, but you can see here how it's full of junk and corrosion. You really don't want to loosen it in that state because your bit is likely to slip out and then you will round the teeth in this Torx screw. So go ahead and clean it out before you try to remove it. Now I can tell I get more engagement with my bit, and I'm less likely to strip it out when I remove it. So I'm going to hold the Torx screw with a ratchet while removing the nut with the 15mm socket. There we go, came right off. So there's the nut. Now the screw will probably need to be tapped out because it is acting as a retainer for the ball joint right here. It does spin, so that's good. So I'm going to put the nut back on just a little bit. I have a T50 impact socket on a small impact wrench over here, so I'm going to use it to turn the screw. I'm going to tap on it, and I'm going to put WD-40 on everything. I'm going to quit with the impact wrench because I don't want to strip it. It's still very tight. But, okay, well, I got it to go back through. At least it's getting looser. There we go. So just working it back and forth allowed me to get it out. And so again, here's the screw, here's the nut. So now there are no fasteners in the control arm, so it theoretically should be loose. Okay, I can see that corner popped up. So now before the control arm will come out, I need to get the ball joint here to drop out from the pinch joint. I'm just going to try hitting downward on the control arm. There we go. It's getting close. There we go. Now we just need to repeat this process in reverse because our new control arm has all of the components here pre-installed, so we just need to install the new one as a whole piece. So here we have the old part and the new part, and I would say that is a direct replacement. We even get new hardware with it, which includes the pinch bolt, so that Torx screw for the ball joint pinch connection. No nut, so we'll reuse the old nut, but we do get a new bolt. This ball joint is not greased, but it does come with a grease zerk to put in here. So we do need to put that in and grease it before we drive the car. I installed the grease zerk and greased it. You can see the excess grease there from the grease gun. And this MOOG control arm is nice. It has a little weep hole here, so you know when you have enough grease. This ball joint end needed to be angled a little bit more back towards the vehicle, and it was really stiff because it was brand new. So to move it, I just took an 18mm socket. Using the socket as an extension, I was able to move the ball joint in the direction that I needed. I slid the A-arm into place and have the ball joint just started up in the hole, but it's not up in the hole yet. I do not have any of the fastener holes fully lined up, so I'm going to try to start with the one in the back. These two, since the bolts are going up, I will need to put the nuts on, and I am going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on the threads, so just like that. In the back, we have this larger bolt and nut. I think before I can get that one on, I might need to get the ball joint lined up. That would allow the A-arm to flatten out a little bit. So the ball joint did not want to go up just the last little bit. And you have to get it in all the way or this screw will not go in the hole. So to get it up the last little bit, actually set the car down on the A-arm here, so the A-arm is carrying part of the weight of the car, and we just whacked on the top of the knuckle with a couple sledgehammers. Now it is up in there, so this screw will go in all the way, and so now we're going to tighten that up. So here is the new nut for this torque screw. It did come with the new control arm. It is a deformed lock nut, but I'm still going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on this screw. The last bolt to get in is the bolt back here on the back of this arch. And the bolt comes up from the bottom. And to get it up through, I just am going to need to push back on the control arm as much as I can to get the hole to line up for this bolt. There we go. I don't recommend this normally, but I'm going to put thread locker on the nut because I cannot really get to the bolt anymore back there. So just put a dab of thread locker. And once again, I'm using thread locker. So now that all the bolts are snugged up, it's time to go ahead and start torquing them down. So there's one that we can do right now, and that's the one for the ball joint. But the other three are going to require an additional step. So let's go ahead and torque this one down though. Ford says to torque this to 46 foot-pounds. So for the next three fasteners, Ford does provide a torque spec, but they say to torque them down with weight on the control arm. So that means I'm going to put my jack back under the control arm, lift up on it until I start to see the weight taken off of my jack stand. So that tells me that the car's weight is on the control arm, and then I can torque down the three fasteners. Okay, so now the control arm is bearing the weight of the vehicle, and that means I can go ahead and start torquing down the fasteners. So the first one I'm going to torque down is this one right up here, the front bushing, and I'm going to torque it to 159 foot-pounds. So I've got my 18mm socket on my torque wrench, and I have a 21mm wrench on the nut on the other end. My mic was off, so you did not get to catch the bang when this let go. But I think the reason it was not clicking is that I was yielding the bolt at a torque just below the torque spec, maybe around 150 or so. And so 150 foot-pounds. And so it just kept yielding it, and it was never going to hit that torque spec. And I kept stretching it until finally it broke. So $9 later, I have a new nut and bolt from Ford. And they are direct replacements, same part number. I was not able to find these anywhere but from the Ford dealer, so just know that. And now it's time to torque it down to 159 foot-pounds. Hopefully we do not break it again. And I have my control arm box down here just to hopefully catch my torque wrench in case it flies off again. Come on. Okay, we are calling that good. We're going to torque the inboard bolt to 118 foot-pounds. And to hold the nut on top, I have a 21mm socket on a cheater bar, the same one that I used to remove the nut earlier. One bolt left. And this one is lower torque yet, for which we can be grateful, of 76 foot-pounds. 18mm on top, 15mm on the bottom. So I'll go ahead and let the jack down now. The new A-arm is in. The lower control arm has been installed. And the only unplanned expense was for a $9 bolt and nut from Ford, but overall that's not too bad. So there's just a few steps left before we can put the caliper back on. The first is to put on the brake rotor, and I'm going to go ahead and use some brake cleaner to clean off the face of it because I got a little bit of oil on it. Off and let the backside. I have both pads on the caliper bracket here. So now we're ready to slide this over the rotor and bolt it into place. Okay, so now I'm going to grab one of my bolts, and I already put a little bit of Loctite on it. Stick it through the ear. Okay, got the first bolt started. Grab the second bolt, put a little bit of thread locker on it as well. Okay, so time to torque these down. So we're going to be using a 15mm socket and torquing these down to 92 foot-pounds. So the caliper bracket is installed. Next is to install the remainder of the caliper. Making every effort to protect the brake line, I'm going to swing the caliper down in place. Just slide it right over the pads. It looks like I actually need to compress the piston just a little bit more because the new pads are, of course, thicker than the old pads. Let's try that. There we go. Now I'm just going to bolt this caliper back to the guide pins using these screws that we removed from the ends of the guide pins in the first place. And just for good measure, I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on everything, and we'll torque these down to 21 foot-pounds. My torque wrench would not go down to 21 foot-pounds, so I just used a regular ratchet and a 14mm socket and a 17mm wrench to tighten these up. So when you spin the bolt, it will want to spin the head of this stud. So you do need to hold the stud stationary while you torque the bolt. So now that I have these nuts on just snug, I'm going to go ahead and let the car down to where the tire is just touching the ground, and then I will torque these down. So I'm using a 13/16 socket and a 1/2 inch torque wrench to torque them down to 100 foot-pounds.